Hey guys, it's Lion here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're going to be doing another Transformers issue review. Today we're looking at issue 10, and this is a really nice cover here. I love it. I think it's really nice to have Carly and RC being buddies again, because it's been a while since they've been shown, I think. I think it's been two or so issues since we've seen them, and if I remember correctly, she takes on Carly as her steel apprentice or iron apprentice as a way to guide her negative destructive energy after she gets mad at Cliff Jumper, right? So that's pretty nice. It's a cool bit of character development that we haven't seen yet. Of course, this is not canon because it's just a cover, but it's pretty cool to have that situation going on there, right? So yeah, Transformers number 10, same team as always. Dana Warren Johnson as the writer, Jorge Corona as the artist, and I wonder if Dana Warren Johnson is going to come back to do the artwork for issues after this arc ends. I'm curious because I don't see Jorge Corona staying for the rest of the run, right? I think that there's going to be some sort of either the run's going to finish pretty quickly, although I doubt that because Dana Warren Johnson did just win 2 Eisners for this series, so I doubt that they'll finish it quickly. I think this is going to be pretty long running, but I don't think Jorge Corona will stay for that long, right? So what's going to happen after this arc? I'm very curious because we are getting near the end, right? Assuming that it's a 6-issue arc. So we'll see. But yeah, in terms of what happens here, basically we're sent back in time millions of years ago. Beachcomber is in a fight with some Decepticons, and he's dropped onto a barren wasteland. It turns out that it's on the moon. And eventually, after many years, we eventually land on the moon. The U.S. makes it to the moon in 1950-something, 60-something, right? And Beachcomber kind of has this weird, creepy smile looking over this like mountain in the moon, looking at these humans landing, and notices where they go back to, and so he finds a way to make it down to Earth. And so he finds the Ark, and he has the chance to wake the Autobots and help them get back up on their feet and you know, back in shape for a long time. But he decided not to, because after being dropped on the moon and being alone for so long, he kind of became a pacifist. He decided that the war wasn't really useful, that there was no point to it. It was just senseless slaughter and danger and sadness for everyone, and that he didn't want to be part of it anymore. So he decides not to wake the Autobots up. And he's telling this all to Spike, right? So this is after we meet him in the last issue. And then he just goes and lives, you know, kind of like the wild robot, just kind of out there. And somehow, we don't know how, he ends up, you know, finding Spike at the right moment, right? So we're back to the present, and he's with Spike. He's talking to him, and he actually shows his like niceness or his ability to kind of look past these issues by offering the Decepticon, I can't remember his name at this point, energon, because, you know, this guy is kind of weak and old, and, you know, he's kind of just sitting there tied up in a bunch of these weird chains. And Beachcomber's like, hey man, do you want some energon? And the guy's like, no, I just want you to release me. And then Beachcomber's like, well, if I do that, you're gonna kill me, so I'm not gonna do that, right? And it's a pretty funny interaction. I like it because it's pretty understated, but it's still pretty comedic, so I like that. Well, anyway, so this Decepticon guy tells him the story of Shockwave and what's gonna happen to Earth. Basically, it's going to be sucked dry to power the Decepticons because organic life can be turned into energon or something, I think. And as this is happening, we get to see that at the Decepticon base, Shockwave is telling Soundwave to get rid of Ravager, who was hurt in the previous battle. He goes, grabs it, and is about to throw it in the furnace when they see whales. Kind of like on the port like bow, I guess, or like the porthole of the ship, and they rush out because Shockwave is actually very interested in this. He thinks that it looks beautiful and that it's quite amazing, right? And it's funny because this is like the exact same reaction as Optimus Prime, but in like the complete opposite direction, because he's looking at this beauty and he can't wait to destroy it. because he wants this to power the Decepticons, right? To power their battle for Cybertron. And he even says this really kind of chilling line that's it's amazing and wonderful that these beautiful creatures will be used to power their battle. It's kind of crazy. He's psychotic. It's really awesome. I really liked it. I think that this kind of dark side version of what Optimus Prime had, you know, when he got to Earth is really, really cool. I very much like this. And of course, it's the same as Beachcomber too. So very interesting stuff here. And then they turn on the feeder, which is this thing that sucks life out of stuff to turn it into energon. And then at the Ark, Wheeljack and RC are fixing something, and RC is really impressed that he managed to do it. And he's just kind of like, yeah, it just took a long time, but I got it. And then Optimus enters in there with Alita 1, I think, and Ultra Magnus. And Wheeljack gets really mad because Ratchet is not with them, and Optimus is sad and kind of, you know, bumbling around trying to tell him that they left him behind, and he gets really, really angry with Optimus. And I think this is completely justified because the whole thing about Optimus is that he doesn't leave his men behind, right? That, you know, war is difficult and bad, but he's always there for his men. And at this point, he decided to leave them. And it's not even like his fault, but he is Prime, right? So he is supposed to be the leader, and he let Alita force him to do something he wasn't supposed to or didn't want to do. And now he's paying the price because he basically betrayed his men, and Wheeljack is completely justified in feeling the way he does, right? So I really like this. I think it's really cool. And of course, Ultra Magnus shows up, and he and RC had some sort of relationship, so RC is really happy to see him again. But of course, Wheeljack is mad at him because he left Ratchet and Cliff Jumper behind, right? So yeah, anyway, we transition back to the Decepticon base where we get to see Shockwave about to start torturing Cliff Jumper. And there's a lot of tension building here between the Decepticons because even though Soundwave and Shockwave are in charge, they are very clearly like worse than Megatron to an extent, or at least are a lot worse at being charismatic, right? And Starscream is very good at lying, but Shockwave and Soundwave are just more of the fear, like as a tool to rule kind of guys. And so this makes a lot of the Decepticons kind of angry behind the scenes, right? And they talk to each other, and they get mad, and there's a bit of tension developing here between them, and I'm very excited to see where this goes. It might be that there's some sort of revolt within the ranks of the Decepticons. I'm not really sure. And then we come back to the Ark where Alita 1 and Optimus Prime are arguing. Can't remember what they're arguing about, but I'm pretty sure it's meaningful because this happens right as Shockwave activates more feeders and starts bringing Cybertron through a wormhole down to Earth. I'm not really understanding the point of this beyond the awesome imagery of like a planet crashing into another one, but I assume that it's so Cybertron like forms over Earth, but I'm not really sure. I don't really get it, but it's really cool. I love this issue. I thought it was really, really great. And overall, I'm very happy with this run. I think that it's being really, really phenomenal. It's a great jumping on point because you don't have to know anything about Transformers beyond like the basic premise, which is Optimus Prime exists. You know, Cliff Jumper is different from Bumblebee, but basically the same. You know, RC is the girl Transformer and stuff like this. Like, you barely need to know anything to enjoy this. But if you do know a lot of stuff, you get a bunch of great moments out of this, right? My G1 knowledge is pretty sketchy, right? Like, I know the basics, but I don't know too much about it. I remember a lot more of the Bay films and the one with the Maximals, the Beast Wars, right? And Armada, right? So that's kind of what I remember. But I know enough about Transformers to understand most of this stuff. And it's great and it's awesome and it's phenomenal. But I love that you don't have to know anything to read this and have fun with it, right? So yeah, Dana Warren Johnson has been doing an amazing job. Jorge Corona has too. And Mike Spicer as well, because he's always there to help Dana Warren Johnson with stuff, right? So yeah, there you go. That's my review for Transformers issue number 10. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.